There's a moment in life most people never forget. The moment you realize not everyone smiling at you is with you. Not everyone who praises you respects you. Not everyone who listens cares. And not everyone who stands beside you deserves access to your heart. Some people do not destroy your life with noise. They do it quietly, with a handshake, with a compliment, with a promise, with a smile that hides a knife. Trust is the most expensive currency you will ever spend, and many people lose it long before they realize they've been robbed. You've felt it before, haven't you? That quiet discomfort in your gut, that subtle tension you could not explain, the feeling that something was off, but you ignored it because you wanted to believe in the person standing in front of you. You called it patience, you called it loyalty, you called it giving someone a chance. But often, it was your spirit detecting what your mind was trying too hard not to see. And Stoicism teaches something most people learn too late. Peace is not only about controlling your emotions, it is also about protecting your life from the wrong people. Because the wrong person does not just waste your time, they drain your energy, distort your judgment, make you doubt yourself, pull you into chaos you never asked for. And if you're not careful, they can become the reason you lose years recovering from battles that were never supposed to be yours. So in this video, we are going deep, not into paranoia, not into bitterness, but into wisdom. These are the 12 types of people you should never trust, according to the harsh, clear-eyed lessons of Stoicism. And by the end, you may not just see others differently, you may finally understand why certain wounds in your life happened at all. Because sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is not forgiveness, it is recognition. Let's begin. The person who flatters you too quickly. Be careful with people who admire you before they know you. The person who praises you too fast is often not seeing you. They are sizing you up. They compliment your character before they have witnessed your actions. They call you brilliant, rare, different, unforgettable. Not because they understand your soul, but because they want access to it. Stoics understood human weakness better than most people ever will. They knew the ego is easy to seduce. A lonely heart will mistake attention for loyalty. An insecure mind will mistake praise for truth. A hungry soul will mistake intensity for sincerity. And that is why flattery is dangerous, because it does not enter through reason. It enters through hunger. Think about how many people entered your life with instant warmth, instant admiration, instant excitement, only to disappear the moment you stopped giving them what they wanted. That was never respect. That was strategy. Real respect is calm. It does not rush. It does not perform. It does not overwhelm you before trust has been earned. The flatterer studies your insecurities, then feeds them. If you are proud, they praise your greatness. If you feel unseen, they make you feel chosen. If you are lonely, they make you feel deeply understood. And once you open the gate, they enter. A Stoic does not get intoxicated by approval. He asks, what is this person after? Because the person who needs applause becomes vulnerable to anyone willing to clap. So remember this, the ones who speak highly of you too early may speak badly of you just as easily later, because their words were never rooted in principle, only convenience. If someone praises you too fast, do not become flattered, become observant. 2. The chronic victim who is never responsible. There are people who can turn every disaster into a performance of innocence. Nothing is ever their fault. Their failed relationships, bad luck. Their broken friendships, jealous people. Their ruined opportunities, unfair circumstances. Their cruelty, a misunderstanding. Their betrayal, something you forced them into. At first, you feel sorry for them. You want to help. You want to understand. You want to be the one person who finally sees their pain. And that is exactly how they trap you. Stoicism does not reject compassion, but it does reject self-deception. A person who never accepts responsibility is dangerous because they can never truly change, and if they can never change, the pain they cause is not accidental, it is inevitable. Seneca warned that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality, but the chronic victim weaponizes that imagination. Every ex was toxic, every boss was abusive, every friend was fake, every room turned against them, and somehow they are always the only innocent one in the story. Notice the pattern. If one person has a problem with you, maybe it is them. If everyone has a problem with them, the truth is harder to avoid. A person who cannot say, "I was wrong," will eventually make you pay for their inability to grow. And that is what makes them untrustworthy. Not their pain, their refusal to own what they do with it. A wise person can say, "Yes, I was hurt, but I am still responsible for what I do next." That is strength. That is character. That is someone you can trust. But the person who lives forever as the wounded innocent, do not trust them. Because if they refuse responsibility, they will eventually make you responsible for everything. 3. The gossip who brings you other people's secrets. If a person brings you everyone else's secrets, one day they will carry yours too. Gossip sounds harmless. Just talk, just conversation, just information. But Stoicism teaches that character is not revealed in grand speeches. It is revealed in habits. And gossip is a habit of betrayal. The person who casually exposes others is showing you exactly what loyalty means to them. It means nothing. Today, they whisper someone else's shame into your ear. Tomorrow, they will package your wounds the same way, dramatic, polished, and easy to pass around. And the worst part is, they often disguise it as intimacy. They make you feel special for being the one they can tell. They build false closeness through shared judgment. They create a bond by making someone else absent. But no connection built on disloyalty can ever be safe. Seneca valued disciplined speech because words are not weightless. Words shape trust. Words shape reputation. Words shape the emotional climate of every relationship. Watch how someone speaks about people who are not in the room. That's their true relationship with integrity. And be careful, because gossip is seductive. It makes you feel informed, included, superior. But every time you relax in the presence of someone else's betrayal, you are volunteering to become the next story. A Stoic asks, can this person be silent when silence is honorable? Can they protect what is vulnerable? Can they carry truth without turning it into a weapon? If the answer is no, keep your heart guarded, because some people don't break trust in crisis, they break it in conversation.
4. The person whose words never match their actions. Some people speak in promises. They always know the right thing to say. They say they will be there. They say they care. They say you can count on them. They say they have changed. They say this time will be different. And every time, part of you wants to believe them. Not because the evidence is strong, but because hope is. This is one of the oldest traps in human life. Believing language over pattern. Stoicism teaches you to observe reality, not fantasy. And reality is simple. People are not what they say, they are what they repeatedly do. The person whose words and actions are divorced from each other is not confused. They are revealing their priorities. Their speech is for image, their behavior is for truth, and truth always wins. A promise without action is emotional theater. It buys time, softens consequences, keeps you emotionally invested in a future that never arrives. How many people have kept you trapped with just enough words to stop you from walking away? I'm trying. You matter to me. Things will change. Just give me time. Sometimes time is healing, but sometimes time is just the rope that keeps your loyalty tied to someone else's indecision. A Stoic judges consistency, not speeches, not emotional intensity, not beautiful apologies. Consistency. Because character is not proven in dramatic moments, it is proven in repetition. So if someone's actions keep contradicting their words, listen to the actions. Words can be crafted, behavior leaks the truth. And one of the most expensive mistakes in life is trusting potential when the pattern keeps warning you otherwise. Pause here.
Not all dangerous people look dangerous. Some are charming, some are wounded, some are intelligent, some are even people you love. That is why this matters. Wisdom is not learning who to hate. It is learning who not to hand your peace to. And the next type is one of the most quietly painful of them all. 5. The one who secretly resents your growth. There is a kind of person who claps for you with their hands, but not with their heart. They smile when you win, but something in their eyes goes cold. They congratulate you, but the energy feels heavy. They support you publicly, then diminish you privately. They say they want the best for you, only as long as your best does not surpass theirs. Envy rarely introduces itself honestly. It disguises itself as concern. Are you sure that's a good idea? Don't get ahead of yourself. You've changed. I just don't want you to get hurt. Sometimes concern is real, but sometimes what sounds like care is discomfort with your evolution. Some people loved the version of you that was easier to control, the insecure version, the available version, the less disciplined version, the version that made them feel superior. And when you begin to heal, rise, focus, build standards, protect your energy, your growth feels like betrayal to them. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your progress exposes their stagnation. And some people would rather shrink you than face themselves. Watch who becomes distant when your life becomes better. Watch who jokes about your discipline. Watch who gets cold when you stop needing permission to become who you were meant to be. A true friend may challenge you, but they will never punish you for becoming stronger. The resentful person does not always want your destruction. They want your doubt. They want you hesitating, second-guessing, explaining yourself, apologizing for your momentum. Do not trust people who need you smaller to feel secure. Anyone who truly loves you should be able to survive your evolution. 6. The convenient friend. Some people are loyal only when loyalty is easy. When life is exciting, they appear. When you have something to offer, they appear. When life is exciting, they are available. When you are useful, connected, stable, generous, emotionally strong, they are near. But when darkness enters your life, they fade. Not dramatically, not loudly, just enough for you to notice. Their replies slow down. Their concern becomes vague. Their presence becomes conditional. These are the people who love access, not you. And life has a brutal way of exposing them. A lost opportunity, a season of silence, a public failure, a private sadness, a chapter where you have no energy to impress, entertain, or provide. That is when masks fall. Trust is not built in sunshine. Trust is built in winter. Who checks on you when you are silent? Who stands near you when there is no benefit? Who remains kind when your season offers them nothing? That is where truth lives. This kind of betrayal hurts because it rarely announces itself. It just feels like absence, like being slowly abandoned by someone who once felt close. But absence can be a revelation. Anyone can sit with you when the table is full. The rare ones are those who stay when it is empty. Stoicism teaches us to test appearances. Not everything that feels like friendship is friendship, and not everyone who shares your laughter can share your burden. So never trust those who only love the easy version of you. Because when life becomes heavy, they become strangers.
7. The emotional manipulator. Some people do not control you with force. They control you with emotion. They make you feel guilty for having needs, selfish for saying no, cruel for telling the truth, cold for setting a boundary. They turn your empathy into a leash. And the frightening part is, many of them become very skilled at it. They know when to cry, when to withdraw, when to become distant, when to act wounded, when to remind you of everything they have done for you. They create emotional storms and slowly train you to be the one who calms them. Over time, you stop asking what is true. You only ask what will keep the peace. That is how manipulation wins. Stoicism is not emotional coldness. It is emotional clarity. And emotional clarity means this: just because someone feels something intensely does not mean they are right. That sentence alone can save years of your life. Manipulators thrive around people who confuse compassion with surrender. They rely on your conscience, your patience, your goodness,
your fear of being misunderstood. So they make self-respect feel like betrayal. But a Stoic becomes anchored. He learns to say, "I hear your feelings, but your feelings do not erase reality. I care about your pain, but your pain does not justify control. I can be kind without being owned." Never trust the person who punishes you emotionally every time you act with dignity, because love does not require psychological submission. And if someone can only keep you close by making you feel guilty, what they want is not love, it is power. 8. The person who uses you, then disappears. You know this type. They need help, and suddenly you matter. They need advice, and suddenly they value your wisdom. They need support, and suddenly your presence becomes important. For a moment, you feel chosen. Then the need passes, and so do they. No consistency, no gratitude, no reciprocity, just silence until the next request. Some people do not relate to others as human beings. They relate to them as functions. What can this person do for me? What can I extract? What can I borrow, access, use, or consume? And if you are dependable, generous, capable, or emotionally available, you are especially vulnerable to them. Because good-hearted people often confuse being needed with being valued, but those are not the same thing. Being needed can be temporary. Being valued is relational. The user does not want you, they want your function, and if you doubt it, remove the function. Say no, become unavailable, need something back. That is when the relationship reveals itself. A Stoic gives, but not blindly, helps, but not foolishly, supports, but not at the cost of self-respect. Because generosity without discernment becomes self-betrayal. Do not trust the person who only remembers your name when they need your hand. A real connection remains even when there is nothing to extract. Anything else is not loyalty, it is consumption. 9. The boundary breaker. One of the clearest signs of an untrustworthy person is simple. They do not respect the word no. Not your no to their requests, not your no to their questions, not your no to their presence, not your no to their access. You tell them something is too far, and they push further. You say you need space, and they invade more. You express discomfort, and they mock it. You draw a line, and they treat it like a challenge. Never underestimate what this means. A person who repeatedly ignores boundaries is announcing that your autonomy does not matter to them. Stoicism is about sovereignty over the self, your choices, your conduct, your mind, your inner world. Anyone who treats your boundaries as negotiable is not disrespecting a preference, they are disrespecting your personhood. And often they begin with small violations. A joke that goes too far, a question that feels invasive, a request that feels entitled, a pressure tactic disguised as affection. If you minimize those moments, the pattern grows, because people who violate small boundaries are often rehearsing for larger ones. Trustworthy people may not always understand your limits right away, but once they understand, they honor them. Untrustworthy people take your boundaries personally because boundaries interrupt control. Read that carefully. Boundaries threaten the people who benefit from your lack of them. That is why some people become angry when you become clear. But clarity is not cruelty. Clarity is self-respect. Do not trust anyone who keeps forcing doors you have already closed. If they can't respect your limits, they cannot be trusted with your freedom.
10. The double-faced person. There are people who become a different person depending on who is watching. With you, they are loyal. With others, they are ambiguous. To your face, they support you. Behind your back, they stay silent while you are disrespected. Or worse, they participate. They shift identities to fit the room. And many people call this social intelligence. Stoicism calls it instability of character. A person without a center cannot be trusted, because trust requires consistency, and consistency requires principle. The double-faced person is not guided by values. They are guided by advantage. They want to be liked by everyone, accepted by everyone, protected by everyone. So they edit themselves constantly, and if defending you costs them approval somewhere else, they will often choose approval.
This is why you must pay attention not only to how people treat you privately, but how they represent you publicly. Do they defend truth when it is uncomfortable? Do they remain themselves under pressure? Do they honor the relationship when your name is not there to protect it? That is character. The double-faced person may seem polished, diplomatic, and easy to get along with, but beneath that smoothness is danger, because you never fully know which version of them is real. And if someone changes their morality depending on the audience, they will change their loyalty too. Never trust someone whose personality is a performance for the room. Sooner or later, you will become part of the script. 11. The person ruled by impulse. Not every untrustworthy person is malicious. Some are simply undisciplined. They say whatever they feel in the moment, spend without thinking, explode when angry, disappear when overwhelmed, make promises in passion and abandon them in boredom. And even if they do not intend harm, they still create it. Stoicism is built on self-mastery, because a person who cannot govern themselves cannot be relied upon by others. If someone is ruled by every mood, every craving, every irritation, every temptation, their character becomes unstable terrain. Today they are loyal, tomorrow they are reckless. Today they love you, tomorrow they destroy trust in one emotional storm and call it weakness. But repeated weakness without discipline becomes danger. We live in a culture that excuses lack of control. I'm just emotional. That's just how I am. I didn't mean it. I was angry. Maybe, but consequences do not disappear because control did. A Stoic knows that freedom is not doing whatever you feel. Freedom is not being ruled by what you feel. So pay attention to how people behave under pressure. Can they pause? Can they think? Can they restrain themselves? Can they stay honorable when angry, embarrassed, tempted, rejected, or afraid? Because calm character is not boring. It is safe, and safety is one of the rarest luxuries in human relationships. Do not trust those who are slaves to impulse, even if their intentions seem good. A fire does not need bad intentions to burn your house down. 12. The one who betrayed you more than once. This one may be the hardest lesson of all, because this one is personal. If someone betrays you once, you may choose caution, you may choose distance, you may choose discernment. But if they betray you repeatedly and you keep giving them access, eventually the pain is no longer surprising, only familiar. Stoicism asks us to face reality without illusion. And one of the most painful realities in life is this: sometimes the person you wish would change has already shown you the final version of themselves. You just keep negotiating with what you want them to be. Repeated betrayal is not confusion. It is a pattern, a revelation, a declaration. And many people stay trapped there because they confuse forgiveness with restoration. But those are not the same. You can forgive someone in your heart and still never trust them with your life again. You can let go of hatred and still lock the door. You can wish them healing without volunteering to be wounded again. That is not bitterness. That is wisdom paid in pain. Some people apologize because they are sorry. Others apologize because access is in danger. Learn the difference. If someone has crossed the same line again and again, lied again and again, used your trust again and again, believe the pattern. Do not keep setting yourself on fire to prove you have a warm heart. At some point, self-respect must become stronger than hope, and that is where freedom begins. Now here's the deeper Stoic lesson. This is not about becoming suspicious of everyone. It is about becoming responsible for your peace, because trust is sacred. Who you trust shapes your mind, your habits, your future, your confidence, your emotional health, even your sense of identity. The wrong people can fill your life with guilt, confusion, drama, self-doubt, and chaos. And if you stay around them too long, you begin to think chaos is normal. It isn't. Stoicism teaches that peace is not found only in silence, discipline, or morning routines. Sometimes, peace is found in one brave decision: seeing clearly, seeing who drains you, who manipulates you, who envies you, who uses you, who smiles while eroding your soul, and who no longer deserves access to the most fragile parts of your life. Because not everyone deserves your trust, not everyone deserves your explanation, and not everyone deserves another chance at the same door. Protecting your inner world is not selfish. It is discipline. It is wisdom. It is self-respect. You are not cold for becoming careful. You are not cruel for setting limits. You are not wrong for outgrowing people who only loved the version of you they could control. You are waking up. And once a person truly wakes up, they stop calling every attachment love. They start calling some of it what it really was, a lesson. If this spoke to something you have felt but could never name, remember this: a calm life is built not only by what you pursue, but by what you refuse to let follow you. And sometimes, the strongest form of wisdom is knowing exactly who should never get close enough to disturb your peace again.